Thank you, and I just want to congratulate Minister Martin and Mr Cleary on their new roles, and I look forward to working with them both over the coming months and however long this government lasts. I just have a couple of questions. I certainly get a sense from you, Minister Martin, that you do have a real strong sense and understanding of just how difficult the arts sector all the difficulties it's facing at the moment, and I am encouraged by that, very, very much so. Could I just ask a question? In the programme for government, it says that as part of the July stimulus, there will be funding and initiatives for the arts sector. Is what we heard today part of what the July stimulus is? I'm just concerned about packaging, and are we going to have an announcement later on this week or next week about a July stimulus where what's been said today will be repurposed or repackaged? I just think it's very, very clear. I mean, you mentioned, we all mentioned, and we had a COVID committee meeting a couple of weeks ago. I know Deputy O'Snuddy was there and Deputy Gannon was there, and it was one of the more memorable sessions of the COVID committee where representatives from the arts sector came in just to tell us how difficult financially, emotionally, psychologically this pandemic is having on their entire sector. So they are listening in, I'm sure, to this session as they are to every time the arts is raised in the Dáil since this pandemic has hit. So when they're taking down figures and they're measuring it against what's been said in the programme for government, they'll want to know and they'll want certainty. Is this the July stimulus that's been mentioned now, or will there be further initiatives announced later on in the month? Also, at that COVID committee session, there were representatives for workers in the arts industry that are funded through the Arts Council. And I welcome the additional funding for the Arts Council in this estimates. But there are also workers in the industry who are not funded through the Arts Council. Sound engineers as such. I mean, it was referenced at the COVID committee that wonderful night of fundraising that took place on a national broadcast a couple of weeks ago. There was a performance from Hosier that took place in the middle of Croke Park, and it was visually stunning and it sounded stunning, and it was just a real high point of that evening. But all the workers that put that together were not funded by the Arts Council. So is there anything being worked on by you or being started by you in your department that's going to target those workers in the arts industry who are so important and fundamental to keeping, literally keeping the show on the road? And just finally, I mentioned the programme for government, how important nighttime culture is and how difficult it's going to be with physical distancing, etc. But it was stated also, and I think it's related, to establish within the first 30 days of government a nighttime economy task force, which I know will have an economic remit and everything maybe beyond what we're speaking about today. But the way it's worded in the programme for government is that it will have some remit in terms of protecting nighttime culture. So we're 11 or 12 days into the new government of this 30 days commitment, and I'm just wondering what moves have been made to establish this task force. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gaeltacht. And Tara?
Just to state that this isn't the July stimulus package, this is last October's budget, with the addition of that 25 million that was announced last month. 20 million of that has gone to the Arts Council, and the other 5 million will be allocated, and I would hope that the other artists that you're talking about and those who work in the industry, that's, you know, I'm still new to the role, but I'm working on that to support them. As you say, I am keenly aware of how they are struggling and the supports that they need. So this is last October's budget. It is not the July stimulus package, but in relation to the July stimulus package, I am that voice at Cabinet, and I am working on that, and the discussions are underway to see how best I am advocating for arts and culture sector there. In relation to the nighttime economy task force, I'm getting to grips, as I said, with my brief. It's quite fast, but I am completely up for that challenge. But I will be meeting the Arts Council this week. I'm hoping to establish this month an arts task force on how best to, with voices from all of the sector, on how best to support them. And as you said, there's a commitment there with the nighttime economy task force as well. And I'll be looking at how best to protect that night culture. I hope that is. Have you further questions?
Follow on. So, just would it be fair to say that you are pushing? Sorry. would it be fair to say that you are pushing for more funding in the July stimulus package, so that there may be some expectation or hope amongst the industry that there'll be further announcements later on this month?
Absolutely. I am that voice pushing for more funding and supports for the arts and culture sectors. Thank you.